In this video, we're looking forward to the year ahead. So much changes with social media every single year, and part of your job as a social media creator at your church is to make sure you're adjusting in light of these changes. So what can we expect for this year? Well, over the next few minutes, I'll be sharing with you the 7 biggest trends you need to be aware of on social for the year 2021. Let's dive in. Well, hey there, I'm Brady Shearer. This is Pro Church Tools, and we're here to help your church navigate the biggest communication shift in 500 years. If we're just meeting for the first time, consider subscribing. We've got more than 100,000 church leaders along for this journey as we do our best to share the timeless message of Christ through timely mediums. And we'd love to have you along for that journey, and hit the thumbs up button as well. It really does make a difference. And let's waste no time here, okay? Social media trend number 1 for this upcoming year, publishing fewer posts. Now, I made an almost identical trend prediction last year at this time, and of course I had no idea then we were headed for a global pandemic, but the reason I'm putting this as the first important trend on this list again is because the main social platforms of Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, the ones that we as churches spend the most time focused on, have become very, very saturated. Now, this was true at the beginning of 2020, but that trend only accelerated once the pandemic began. And as essentially every brand in the world upped their focus on digital platforms, the volume of content we were seeing on our feeds went up also. So what does this mean for your church? It means that if you want to reach people, you need to post content that is above average. The stuff you post needs to be better than most of the other stuff out there because it's just too competitive now. Everyone wants a piece of the attention these social platforms have. That's no secret. And so, as you spend more time on each post, making them as valuable and useful and engaging as they can be, what will be the natural result from that? You'll need to publish fewer posts or invest considerable more time and creativity into your social efforts. But assuming you don't have a ton of extra time and creative genius to invest into social, assuming what you're working with now in 2021 is similar to last year, my recommendation for you is to focus more on quality than quantity. Post less. That's okay, so long as what you're posting is better this year than last. So as an example, my goals for post volume this year are as follows. Once a week on YouTube, once a week on the podcast, new season coming soon, with Alex returning, so watch out for that. Once a week on Instagram, and 3 times a week on TikTok. And if you're not already, make sure to follow me on TikTok and Instagram. The handle is @BradyShearer for both. Now, you might have noticed I didn't mention Facebook there, and that's because for us, anyway, our Facebook page organic reach isn't exceptional, so we use ads for Facebook along with our Facebook group, so that strategy is a bit different for us. Also, my posting numbers are not meant to be prescriptive for you. I'm just sharing them as an example, but here's the bottom line for all of us. You should post as much as you possibly can on social, but the quality of your posts needs to be better this year than last year. That means usefulness, value to your audience, and engagement. And no throwaway posts either, or posting just because. That'll do more harm than good for your accounts in the long term. Social trend number 2, the demise of Instagram. Now, I'm not saying Instagram is gonna go away or anything like that, but I do think it has jumped the shark. And I'll use the most recent major update as the point in time where I started to feel this. And that major update was the launch of Instagram Reels and the new user interface. Now, we all know that Reels was a response, of course, to the colossal rise of TikTok, and Instagram has pulled off this move before, successfully, most notably with Snapchat in 2016, when Instagram launched Instagram Stories to great success. And my memory of that time was that Snapchat's popularity was about to hit a tipping point, and a lot of people that had been unwilling to jump onto Snapchat were about finally ready to make the move after holding out for so long. And then Instagram releases Stories. It's massively popular, people start using it right away, and Snapchat's momentum takes a massive hit. I have not felt that same shift with Reels though. Moreover, with the addition of Reels, Instagram has really hit a point now where the platform, in my opinion, has just too many different content formats. You know, you've got Reels, IGTV, Stories, the feed, Shop, Guides, Live. It's kind of hit a point now. Instagram feels very similar to Facebook about 5 years ago, where it's become such a beast of a platform, it's so saturated, It's like any trend, right? It starts with this small pocket of culture, it spreads across all of society, and it just kind of loses some of its shine. Now, that's not to say that Instagram isn't useful or that I'll be leaving it, but my expectation is that we hit peak Instagram late last year, and as for its influence in culture, I don't see it going up from here, meaning the only way to go is down. Which also leads us to social media trend number 3 for 2021, the heir to Instagram's throne. It started with Facebook, Facebook gave way to Instagram, and now Instagram is giving way to TikTok. And what's truly unique and impressive about TikTok's year of maturation in 2020 is that the platform was under threats from the American government basically the entire year, rumors it would be banned or shut down in the States, but it got through that. And my expectation is that that's only going to galvanize the platform's future. Instagram tried to do to TikTok what it did to Snapchat in 2016, and it failed. Reels didn't stop TikTok's momentum, and that's why I expect this to be the year of short-form video. TikTok is here to stay. It has changed the entire landscape of social with its introduction of short-form video and audio memes, and you know that's true when platforms like YouTube and Instagram have already added short video features to their own platforms. But perhaps even more importantly, TikTok is the only platform right now where it is actually easy to reach a large audience without spending a ton of money. Because it's in that sweet spot where it's hit critical mass, you can reach tens of thousands, even millions on TikTok, but it's not so saturated like Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, where you can't break through, or it's very difficult to break through as a smaller creator. As an example, I've got about 75,000 followers on TikTok right now, at Brady Shearer. Would love to have you join. I got that in about 18 months of semi-focused effort on TikTok. Compare that to about my 33,000 followers on Instagram, also at Brady Shearer. That's from about 7 years of very focused effort. Pair that with what I see as the beginning signs of Instagram's decline this year, and I expect a trend I've been seeing for a little while, really, to begin picking up some steam. And that is smaller creators. Stop putting so much effort into platforms like TikTok and Instagram, where they just can't break through, and instead focusing on TikTok, where it is so much easier to grow. Social media trend number 4, carousel posts on Instagram. If you're looking for hot content ideas for churches in 2021, for me, it's carousel posts. Because these have been popular in the non-church social world for a couple of years now, and churches are finally starting to catch on. And personally, the core part of my approach to Instagram has been carousel posts for a while now. That's because they are extremely useful. It's also the same reason why I love these kinds of posts for churches. They're not about how awesome your church is or how charismatic and likable your pastor is. These posts are really just about serving people, meeting folks where they are, at the intersections between their faith and their life. So let's look at a few examples, because as I said, churches are beginning to publish posts like this more frequently. Life Church saw huge engagement on this one, 3 truths to remember in 2021. Now, remember what I said, these posts succeed when they identify an intersection between faith and culture, faith and life. Elevation has been using these recently also. Here's one, productive things to do off social media this week. These kinds of posts, they start by meeting people where they are and then pointing them to God. And a byproduct of this is not only do these kinds of posts perform well with those connected to church, but beyond the church as well. And if you're looking for ready-made social posts like carousel posts and beyond, maybe you don't have a designer on staff to create this content for you, or perhaps your creative energy just needs to be invested elsewhere. That's where our platform, Nucleus Media, comes in to be your church's creative companion. As part of Nucleus Media, you get unlimited access to social media posts designed specifically for churches. Every post is focused on stopping the scroll, starting meaningful conversations, and provoking spiritual practice. And that's because our belief is that social media is a ministry. It's not just a vehicle to promote ministry. And every social post we produce at Nucleus Media reflects that conviction. In the Nucleus library, you also get unlimited access to worship backgrounds, stock footage, motion titles, countdowns, After Effects, and Photoshop templates, and more. And what this means is that everything is customizable for you. So if you want to make adjustments or changes to our posts, just using what we have as a starting point, our library is perfectly suitable for that. And most importantly, Nucleus Media is made to be accessible for every church. Combine subscriptions elsewhere, you'll end up paying hundreds of extra dollars each year. Plus, you can get started for free with no credit card required. Just head to nucleus.church/media to get started. That link is also in the description, nucleus.church/media. Okay, social media trend number 5. Churches that identify ways to make their people visible will thrive. And that's because we are a social species, and there's nothing that gets us to stop the scroll on social quite like seeing other people, especially people that we know. So keep this in mind when you're creating content. Pictures and videos of your leadership, make them visible on social. Pictures and videos of people in your church, make them visible on social. There's no replacement for this kind of content. It is that important. Trend number 6, from engagement to useful. Now, I think this is a big step forward that we can all take this year on social. We all know how important engagement is online, and posts that are created with the intent of driving engagement online are an important part of any social strategy. But beyond engagement, a more mature kind of post is one that is truly useful. And that gets back to trend number 4, carousel posts. That's a perfect example of a useful post framework. Not just one that does numbers, but a post that truly serves a need in the lives of the people you're trying to reach. And this is where digital discipleship finds its form. Content that moves people toward Jesus and gives them the tools to do that. So when I say from engagement to useful, I'm not saying abandon all posts that are meant to drive engagement and do big numbers like irresistible question posts and true or false and quotes or anything like that. I love those kinds of posts, but I would say look at your social calendar, the landscape of content you publish. Are there posts in there where the sole intent is usefulness? Posts with depth, with meat on the bones. The kinds of posts that probably won't do huge numbers, because the point of a post like this is depth and not width. Finally, trend number 7. Churches will continue to evaluate what really matters on social this year. Now, we as churches exist to affect life change, and that means your efforts on social should be aimed at that same target, affecting life change. One thing I saw through this pandemic was as churches were forced to focus on digital platforms more than ever before, so many had light bulb moments where they realized how powerful these platforms could be when it comes to reaching people and affecting life change. Seeing that it's more than just likes and follower accounts, but that you can really help people take tangible steps towards Jesus. Now, I don't think we're all the way there yet. This is a massive paradigm shift. It takes time, but the pandemic, it has sped up the process. So the bookend to these trends, and my challenge to you as a church this year, is to continue to work and identify what truly matters. Why do you exist? What does true fulfillment of mission look like in your church? Because it's more than in-person attendance, and it's more than a ton of likes on a post. But what is it really? And how can you map your efforts on social to those things that truly matter? When you can find answers to those questions, you'll unlock social in a way you've never experienced before. And that's where the true fun begins. As always, thank you for your time, attention, and trust. I'd love to hear from you. What's the one trend you're seeing this year? You know, we're all here to learn from each other. So hit the thumbs up button, put your answer in the comments below. We'll talk soon.